on? What's going on? What's the latest and the greatest, big homie? Neffy's in the building. What's going on, Neffy? Happy Tuesday, Jordan. So good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Red's in the building. Mexico's in the building. Thank you so much for watching me out there. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the love and support. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. More than you know. Thank you. Mexico's in the building. Thank you. Tangerine, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Wendy's in the building. Florida's in the building. What's going on, Florida? Tangerine, thank you so much, Mama. Thank you. TikToker, what's going on? I know, Red. I know. Trust me, I know. Thank you so much. Thank you, you guys. Peace and blessing. Africa's in the building. Okay, Africa, I see you. Got my Tara in the building, blocking all shots. Shaquille O'Neal 2.0. Nicole's in the building. What's up, Nicole? So good to see you. Red says he goes so hard sometimes. I think he's robot. Kim, I see you. What's up, Kim? Another Pisces queen in the building. So good to see you all. Peace and blessings to you all. Be where your feet are. The mindset. What's the mindset? All is well. Everything is fine. Nothing is broken. Nothing needs to be fixed. All is well. The mess only exists in your mind. It doesn't exist in reality. It only exists in your mind. It doesn't exist in reality. The problems exist in your mind. They don't exist in reality. The fear only exists in your mind. It doesn't exist in reality. The depression only exists in your mind. It does not exist in reality. All is well. Got my Lynn in the building. Hey, what's up, Lynn? D's in the building. Nat's in the building. So good to see you guys. Warrior Princess, so good to see you. So good to see you all. Remember, you are both the problem and the solution. Where's the fear coming from? The fear is coming from you. It's coming from what you imagine might happen, not from what's really happening. The fear comes from what you imagine might happen because you're trying to control something that only God can control. That's why the fear is coming. The fear is coming because it's there to let you know, sit down and have a seat, relax. You're not trusting right now. That's why you're experiencing the fear. You're not trusting in that moment, right? That's why you're experiencing the anxiety. You're not trusting. That's why you're worrying. You're not trusting. There's a lack of trust there. You don't trust. You claim to love him. You claimed that he's your everything. But when there comes to certain moments in life, you don't trust. Truth is already knocking at the door. We just started. We haven't even gotten off the ground yet, and truth is already trying to kick the door down. I'm like, damn, truth. That part right there, Rika, that part right there. Kingdom mentality. Come on, Lynetta. Come on, family. Kingdom mentality. Kingdom mentality means success and self-awareness means I have no fear. I don't place limitations on myself. I don't think that my happiness exists outside of me. I'm not searching for love because I am it. I'm no longer living out of my programming and conditioning. I don't need others to validate me. I am emotionally bulletproofed, which means whatever your opinion of me is just your perception in that moment. It has nothing to do with me. Success in awareness means I have no more anxiety. There's no more suffering. I'm not creating the problems because I've got some story in my mind about how I think things should be and how I think things should go and how I don't place expectations on people anymore. Why? Because I love people and I understand that people are mistake-making machines and the average person can barely live up to their own expectations, let alone carrying the weight of mine. Success in awareness means that I have become unconditional love. I'm no longer handing out conditional love, right? Based upon who I think is good and who I think is deserving and who I think is worthy and all of those things. Because the moment that I don't want to hand love to someone else, I'm also blocking love's presence in my own life. The moment that I make the decision to not hand love to you, I also block love's presence in my own life. So I cut my own oxygen off. Instantly. We've been taught that success means go get the money, go get the houses, go find people, go chase things, go chase job titles. All of that is what's creating your suffering right now. Truth is knocking at the door. Everything that somebody programmed to condition you to chase is probably 99% responsible for why you suffer in life. We're not going to live in the truth. We're just going to let the truth walk right out the door. We're not going to stop the truth at the door. Everything that someone programmed and conditioned you to chase, go seek, go get, go acquire, is responsible for your suffering. Just think about it. You got taught to chase everything except yourself. Hang on. I got people trying to jump into live already. That part right there, Vonnie, that part right there. That part right there. That part right there. This isn't about what the live is about. We just having appetizers right now. This is just appetizers, that's all. Just appetizers, just appetizers. We're just having appetizers. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. And don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you don't go chase what the world told you to chase. But if you go chase what the world told you to chase before you catch yourself, you in trouble. Because you're going to spend all of that money trying to put yourself back together again. Don't lose sight of that. Don't let that go over your head. Don't let that go over your head. That's all I'm saying. Don't let it go over your head. I'm not asking you to change anything. I'm just saying don't let that go over your head. You're going to go out and chase the world and you're going to capture the world only to take everything that you just acquired in the world and you're going to be bringing the pastor into your life, bringing the therapist into your life, bringing the psychiatrist in your life, needing them to put you back together again. Needing them to put the relationship back together again because you never dealt with the problem. Until we solve the problem called you, the problems will always be in your life. That's the only thing that we have to solve is the problem called you. Once you master you, you've mastered everything. There's nothing else to master after that. There's nothing else to master after that. And there's nothing wrong with you in this moment. Nothing wrong with you at all. Nothing at all. I promise you, there's not a single thing. No matter what you think might be wrong, nothing is wrong. And the fact that you think that something is wrong is what's producing your suffering. The fact that you think something is wrong with you right now in this moment is what's producing your suffering. Because happiness can't be, negativity and positivity can't occupy the same moment. So in this moment, if you think something is wrong with you, whether you don't like your body, you don't like your job, you don't like your life, you don't like your relationship, you don't like yourself, you don't like whatever it is that happened in some previous moment, happiness can't be where you are. Love can't be where you are, not because you're not deserving of it, because you're blocking its presence, thinking that something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing at all. So Presley, I see you, my brother, I see you. I see you. All right, let's get busy. None of that was about the lie, but let's get busy. The only thing wrong with you is you entertaining a thought that something is wrong with you. Because if you think something is wrong with you, that means that you're measuring your life against someone else's. You're measuring what happened to you to what happened with someone else. All right, let's get busy. Let's get busy. We got work to do. We got work to do. A lot of heavy lifting today. A lot of heavy lifting. Tangerine, thank you so much, Mama. A lot of heavy lifting. How do you change it? Okay, user, great question. How do you, through self-awareness. Through self-awareness. It's the only way. Through self-awareness, it's the only way. Which is why if you're not a part of my community, I encourage you to be a part of my community, because that's what it's going to give you. It's going to give you your wings. You just need your wings right now. And that cage that we live in is made up of our own thoughts. The cage that we walk around in is made up of our programming and conditioning. The cage that we live in is made up of our own ego. Your ego is what's keeping you disconnected from the divine essence in you. You got to get rid of that. That's why with self-awareness, the first thing that has to go is your ego, because it's keeping you disconnected from your divine essence. The ego has you convinced that you're something else, that God is one thing and you're something else. That has to go right now. That has to go immediately. First thing has to go. That's the first stop we make. That's the first thing that has to get out of the car is your ego. Ego has to go immediately. It has you all confused. All of the expectations and all of those things that you place on other people, and you judging people and your assumptions about people, how critical you are of other people, but you don't apply that same energy to yourself. All of that's coming from your ego. Your ego is the spokesperson for all of your programming and conditioning, all of the mistakes you made, all of the times you failed. It's the spokesperson for your comfort zone, and you should stay here, and you don't need to try that, and it's not going to work. Don't trust them. It's keeping you stuck, man. It's got to go. Has to go now, not in a little while, not okay, I'll think about it. Let me wait until I get the check. Go borrow the money and go do what you got to do to get rid of your ego. Do that now, because it's hurting you. More than you know, it's hurting you. All right. You are. You are the boss. You wasn't lying. You are it. You were 100% accurate when you said that. Oh, those are like two majorly different things. Yeah, those are. You know, the reason why the ego has to go in awareness, right? The reason why the ego is the first thing to go is. Confidence, there are certain things that you just are, right? There are certain things that you are. You are the human manifestation of value. That's a diamond hard fact. You produce, you create. What do? You take thoughts and you create the physical manifestation of that. You are the human manifestation of value. Belief is what you are. You are the human manifestation of belief. You are the human manifestation of happiness. You are the human manifestation of love. But all the happiness, the belief, the confidence, all of those things are really just a byproduct of love. All of those things is just some extension or the byproduct of love. When you become unconditional love, you have unwavering belief in yourself, unwavering confidence, unwavering all of those things. So you can't really compare what confidence is to, because confidence is just something that you are. You never lack confidence in your life. There has never been a day when you lack confidence. You're always placing your confidence in something. You're either confident in what you can do or you're confident in what you can't do. But either way, you're always confident. You're always believing in what you can do, or you're either believing in what you can't do. But either way, you're always believing. And so confidence and belief, it's the same, it's opposite ends of the same stick, if that makes sense. Hey, what's up, Jaden? So good to see you. All right, somebody, but the ego is something different. So confidence isn't something that you need to build. Your confidence skyrockets once you let go of the ego. Your confidence skyrockets once you set down your programming and conditioning. Your confidence skyrockets once you stop living out of your yesterdays, because it's just a byproduct of what you already are. There are certain things that are just innate within you. The confidence is in you. The happiness is in you. The joy is in you. The peace is in you. All of the best of everything that you are, it's already in you. They're frequencies that you tap into. What blocks their frequency is when you hang on to yesterday. What blocks their frequency is when you cling to your persona, your reputation, your mask, the me that you wear, this identity that you've created that you sell to the world. That blocks their presence. The ego blocks their presence when you're living out of your ego personality, because 99.9% of the time, most people are walking around with conditional love. What does that mean? Conditional love means that I'll say hi to you if you say hi to me. I'll be nice to you if you be nice to me. I'll love you if you love me, but the moment you stop loving me, I'll stop loving you. That's conditional love, and that's how most relationships are working. Most people have a conditional love relationship, even though they claim to love each other conditionally. Because the moment that that person wants to walk away from the relationship and go and do something different, because maybe they just don't, the relationship isn't doing it for them anymore. All of a sudden, this person that claimed to love you hates you now. How did that happen? How did 5 minutes ago, before I said anything, you have all this love for me, and the moment that I want to take my life and go do something with my life, now you hate me? Because you had a story in your mind about who you thought we would be in the future. You sold yourself a story in your mind about the life that you thought. You fell in love with the role that you played in my life. And now you no longer, that version of yourself that you became, you no longer know where to do with that version of yourself. And that's what we ultimately end up mourning. And that's what will ultimately make us hate this person. Because you don't know what to do with that version of yourself that you built in my presence. You built a version of yourself in my presence that only goes with me. It doesn't go with any other person. And you were that person the majority of the time. That's what happens, especially if you've been in a relationship for at least a year or longer. You transform into this version of yourself. You create a version of yourself that only goes with me. Doesn't fit anyone else. And so every time you're with me, you transform into this person. What we fall in love with is who we got to be in that person's presence. What we mourn is the fact that that version of ourselves that we became, we don't know what to do with that. So let me tell you what ultimately will end up happening. What will end up happening is that program that you created that only goes with me, the program that you created, right, is still running. Let's say I walk out of your life and I've been gone a week. In your mind, you're saying, damn, I can't stop thinking about him. I can't stop thinking about him. And you associate the fact that you can't stop thinking about me with the fact that I'm your soulmate, or with the fact that, you need to go and get me. You need to go and chase me. You need to go and pursue me, because you associate the fact that you can't stop thinking about me with the fact that I must be the one for you. It has nothing to do with that. You can't stop thinking about me because that program is still running. The program needs to be dismantled. And every time you look in your environment, there are certain things that are triggering, right? Triggering you because that version of you was built to only go with me. And you're still that version of you. So, but to your sleeping mind, you associate the fact that you can't stop thinking about me with the fact that he must be my soulmate. That must be my forever person. That must be the person that I'm supposed to be with. No, it has nothing to do with that. Don't ever make that mistake of thinking that the fact that you keep thinking about someone means that it must mean that you're supposed to be with them. It has nothing to do with that. It's going to take time. The same way that it took time for you to build that version of you, it's going to take time for you to dismantle that version of you. It's going to take time for you to detach yourself from that version of you. It's going to take time. But when you lack self-awareness, you don't even know that. So now you blowing my phone up, you calling me, you texting me, you all of these things, you're shrinking, you're becoming a shell of yourself. And if I decide to walk back in your life, I'll have full control over the situation. Why? Because you're so happy to have me that you're going to shrink in a moment. You're going to walk on eggshells. You're going to, baby, I'm sorry's and I won't do it again, and all of these other things like that, when you have no control. You're not even the most powerful version of yourself anymore. You're a weaker version of yourself because you don't understand how you work. You think that because you kept thinking about the person that it meant you were supposed to be together, that was your forever person or your soulmate, and it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the fact that you built a program, you created a version of yourself that only worked in my presence. And when I walked out of your life, the version didn't leave with me. That version stays with you. That version still has thoughts, still has beliefs, still has hopes, still has dreams. And all of those things are happening to you in that moment. And you don't understand that because you didn't take the time to understand yourself. So what's the remedy here, Coach? You transmute the energy. What does that mean? Transmute the energy means that I'm going to take the energy from that situation. I'm going to take my pain. I'm going to take my suffering, right? And I'm going to start my business now. I'm going to write a book now. I'm going to go become the most powerful version of myself now. I'm going to become self-aware now. I'm going to start that podcast. That's your fuel. That's how you become powerful. Every time something negative happens in your life, you don't allow that energy to attack you. You transmute the negative energy. Because the energy is going somewhere. So you're going to either allow the energy to attack you, or you're going to use that energy as a catalyst to transform yourself into the most powerful version of you. So when that person walks out of my life, I'm going to start that business. I'm going to start a kickboxing class. I'm going to write that book. I'm going to this seminar. I'm getting ready to go find me an accountability partner or a mentor or someone so that I can go do that thing that I've been waiting to do. I'm getting ready to become self-aware so that I can master myself. I'm getting ready to go hire me a personal trainer so that I can train. I'm going to make sure that the next person that walks into my life won't be able to walk away. I'm going to become so powerful that there won't be another individual in the history of life that will ever be able to walk away from me. That's why I go hard every single day. I go hard every single day because I've transformed myself into something that you can't afford to walk away from. I don't even have to know you to know that. I am something that you can't walk away from. I'm like oxygen. I'm like water. I'm something that you can't do without. And you can transform yourself into that as well. I don't worry about people walking away from me, ever. You can't afford to, because I'm going to add too much value to your life, and I'm not going to cling to you, and I'm not going to be attached to you. And the only thing that I'm going to do is help you become better, stronger, smarter, faster every single day. When you sad, I'm going to pick you up. When you lonely, I'm going to pump you up. Whatever's going wrong in your life, I'm the answer, I'm the solution, I'm the blessing, I'm the cure, I'm all of it. You have that power. The same way that I did it, you can do it. It's how much do you love yourself? You want to transform yourself into something that people can't afford to walk away from, period. If people can't afford to walk away from you, you don't hold the value that you think you do. Do I need to say that again? If a person can afford to walk away from you, you're not as valuable as you think you are. The NBA can't afford to walk away from Michael Jordan. From LeBron James. Can't afford to do it. Boxing can't afford to walk away from Floyd Mayweather. Too much value. So you got to become the value. Stop chasing people and chase yourself, and become so magnetic, become so powerful that people literally, and that's not ego, right? That's not arrogance. That's alignment. The same way God is something that you can't afford to walk away from. Try to walk away from it. I dare you. Try to walk away from it. You can't. You won't even last 5 seconds. And you're an extension of that. Okay, you're that powerful. So that's what you do. That's the whole purpose of life, man. Transform yourself into something that, and again, that's not arrogance. That's not you being conceited. It's just alignment. When people can walk away from you, it's because they're tired of the experience of you. That's why they walk away. When people can walk away from you, it's because they're already bored with the experience called you. Because you keep waking up being the same person you were yesterday. They're tired of that. They've seen the movie already. There's nothing new to you. They understand your little routines. They understand your little habits. They understand your little, what you get up in the morning and you do. It's all the same. You do the same thing day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. You got to understand, we got a quantum computer sitting here. It figures things out quickly. And the moment it figures things out, it gets bored with the thing that it's figured out. It wants a new experience. So how do I counter that? You keep transforming yourself. I'm always one step ahead of where you think I need to be. I'm always one step ahead of where you think I am. The moment you think you know who I am, I've already transformed into something else. Growth trumps everything. It's the most beautiful thing and the most powerful thing in the world. Growth trumps everything. Growth trumps your depression. Growth trumps your unhappiness. Growth trumps your problems. Growth trumps everything. The problem is that most people don't grow. You're not growing. That's why you're depressed. You're not growing. You keep waking up with the same life every single day, man. You're not growing. Growth trumps everything. When I wake up in the morning, I'm excited because I don't know who I get to become today. I'm not hanging on to who I was yesterday. Yesterday, I don't even want to hear about yesterday. Whatever it is I accomplished yesterday doesn't have anything to do with who I'm becoming today. That's the problem. We keep hanging on to yesterday. I don't even want to talk about yesterday. Why are we talking about yesterday? Yesterday's not talking about you. I can promise you, wherever yesterday is in the world, it's not talking about you right now. So why are you talking about it? Why are you clinging to it? Look at Red. Look at Red. Look at my Red. I know she a little beast. There's one person I'm not worried about at all. All right. All right, let me get into this live. Somebody said, what's your biggest asset? Me. I am my biggest asset. And so are you. See that right there? That's a great question. That's a great question. I'm actually glad you asked that question. You are your greatest asset. Every single thing is only an extension of you. Think about what I'm saying. I don't give a damn. The money is an extension of you. Thank you so much for the gift. Thank you, Mama. The money is an extension of you. The relationship is an extension of you. The car is an extension of you. The clothes, the jewelry, all of those things is an extension of you. The house, the apartment, all extensions of you. Everything is an extension of the value that you bring to the moment, which could only mean that the asset in your life is you. Take care of the asset. Build the asset. Stop trying to build relationships and build the asset. That produces the relationships, that produces the money. Constantly pour and invest in the asset the same way you would in a business. Look at yourself like a business because that's really what you are. You are a walking, talking billboard for the brand that is you. Your brand doesn't start when you get some business. Your brand is who you are. Every time you show up to the moment, some person is having some experience with you. The same way they do with McDonald's, the same way they do with Starbucks, the same way they do with Walmart or Amazon. They're having an experience with you. What's the experience like? Because I can promise you, when you have an experience with me, it's going to be a walking TED Talk. I don't give a damn if we at the park. I don't care if we sitting in the car. If we down at the bottom of the ocean, I'm transforming something. You're going to walk away from the moment smarter than you did when you entered the moment. That's what I'm saying. The asset is you. The asset is not, but see, we've been programmed and conditioned to think that the asset is the things that we acquire, right? The money and the car and the clothes and the bank account. Those things are an extension of you. You give birth to businesses. Businesses don't give birth to you. So how can the business ever be more important than the thing that created the business? How can the relationship ever be more important than the thing that created the relationship? Just help me understand. Maybe you know something that I don't know. But see, here's the problem. I'm going to tell you the real problem. We take care of what the asset created, but we won't take care of the asset. You got all of this protection going on. You got alarms on your houses. You got alarms on the cars. You got all of these security codes and passcodes to your bank accounts. You got all of these security codes to get into your social media accounts, but there's no protection on you. Why are you securing all of what the asset created, but you don't give none of that energy to the asset itself? You're more concerned about what the asset produces than the asset itself. What do you mean you got the asset sitting in a toxic relationship? What do you mean you got the asset in some low vibrational area? What do you mean you allowing the asset to be disrespected? What? Man, you tripping. The coldest asset that God ever created is called Y-O-U. I didn't say us. I didn't say them. I didn't say we. I said the coldest asset that God has ever created is called Y-O-U, period. He gave us one. And in his mind, he was thinking, that's all they need. She got a piece of me broken off of her. She don't need more than that. She got me. He has me. He don't need more than that. If I put too much of me in there, you're going to become unstoppable. So he put just enough of himself in you so that you can go out and transform and create and build the life that you want. You got unwavering belief floating through you right now. You got unconditional happiness floating through you right now. You got unconditional peace, joy, and bliss floating through you right now. But anytime that we start entertaining what happened yesterday, what we don't have, who we're not, trying to be what someone else told us that we need to be, we block those things' presence in our life. We can't become the most powerful version of ourselves because we're too busy thinking and focusing and hanging on to who we used to be. You can't think from the perspective of who you're going to be and from the perspective of who you used to be at the same time, and you got to choose one. That's why most of you guys are stuck, because you're oscillating between who you want to become and who you used to be, and you're thinking from both perspectives. That's what's hurting you. That's what's hurting you. That part right there. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. That part right there. You know, you can't. I can't think from the perspective of who I want to be and who I'm trying to become, and think from the perspective of who I used to be at the same time. I can't do that. And if I'm always thinking from the perspective of, if I'm thinking from the perspective of who I want to become, and if I'm thinking from the perspective of who I used to be, that means that I don't really trust who I'm becoming. Again, all of your fear is being created by what you imagine might happen. Fear is the byproduct. It's the misuse of your imagination. That's the only way that fear enters your life. It's a misuse of your imagination. You're imagining situations and scenarios. You're trying to predict things that are happening outside of the moment, and that's what's producing your fear. You don't fear the future. You fear what you imagine might happen in the future. But that's also what's keeping you stuck. Because if we remove the fear, you're going to be like a Ferrari with no brakes. If we remove the fear, what would your life look like if fear didn't have a seat at the table of your life? Just think about that. You don't have to answer the question. What would your life look like if fear was just completely gone right now? Just think of who you would already be. That's why self-awareness is so important, because it eradicates the fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid you might lose? What are you afraid you won't be happy without? What are you afraid? See, just the thought that you think you need something outside of yourself in order for you to be happy, or something outside of yourself in order for you to be successful, we already got a major problem. We got a category 5 problem already. The fact that you think you need money to be happy, the fact that you think you need some person to be happy, the fact that you think you need that house or that has nothing to do with happiness. Those are all the fulfillments of a desire. Stop confusing your desires with happiness. It's hurting you. I said stop confusing your desires with happiness. Money is something you desire. It has nothing to do with your happiness. The relationship is something you desire. It has nothing to do with your happiness. That job is something that you desire. It has nothing to do with your happiness. But by some strange trick of the mind, you have managed to tie your happiness to things that are happening outside of you. That's what's killing you more than anything else. That's hurting you more than any person you have ever called an enemy. Somehow, some way, by some strange trick of the mind, you have convinced yourself, you have figured out a way to tie your happiness to what's happening outside of you. Look at how fragile that is. Look at all of the control you lose. Look at how much power you give away. Because that means that if the things that are happening outside of you don't go exactly how you need them to go, you punish yourself with the negative feeling. Now your happiness is gone. Now your joy is gone. Now your peace is gone because something happened at the job, or because you don't have money right now, or because you don't have the relationship that you want. None of those things should ever have the ability to affect what you are, because happiness is what you are. It's not tied to anything. It's not tied to anything. It's tied to God if it's tied to anything, and that's it. You got it tied to the job. You got it tied to people's expectations. You got it tied to who's loving you. You got it tied to who stays in your life. You got it tied to what's happening with your body. You got it tied to whether or not you feel like you're pretty today. You got it tied to whether or not you're having a good hair day or not. Man, you got it tied to everything. My happiness is tied to nothing. I don't give a damn what's happening outside of me. I don't care how many storms are happening outside of me. I don't care who walks in and who walks out of my life. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that I have me. If I got me, I'm winning the game. As long as I got me, oh, I'm winning. I got me and I got God. How can I possibly lose? I'm on the coldest team on the planet. As long as I have me and I got him, oh, I don't give a damn who walk out. Because the moment you walk out, I'm so self-aware, I know how to take and transmute that negative energy. The next time you see me, I'll be on a billboard somewhere. You'll be begging to be a part of my life. You'll be begging just to be an employee. You got a role you can play for me? A coach, you got something you can do for me? Is there some position? You used to be my number one. Stop tying your happiness to what's happening outside of you. It has nothing to do. You're confusing your desires with happiness. You can desire all types of things in life, and sometimes you're going to get those things and sometimes you won't. But you don't tie your happiness to that. You don't ever make that mistake. Why? Because happiness is what's going to... Let me tell you something that you have never heard before. But once you hear it, you'll never forget it. And if you don't ever come back to another live of mine, this is the thing that you came to hear. If you don't listen to anything else. Why do you think it is critically important for you to be happy? There's only one reason. Why do you, I say critically important. Like breathing important. Why do you think, before I share, because I want to see how self-aware you are, why do you think it's important for you specifically to be happy? Don't think about anybody else. Be selfish right now and just think of yourself. JD said health. Pin that question up there for me, coach. There you go. Thank you. Somebody said health, peace, impacts others. I love that. Happiness is love. I love that. Love that. It's your nature. Ooh, come on, come on, come on, come on, Aquarian goddess. Quit playing with her. No, she hit it. Present moment, connection, value. Well, good. Okay. Creation. You're at your best. I love that. I love that. Come on, Aquarian goddess. Straight beast. I know who I've been coaching. I ain't worried about her at all. Somebody said hope, purpose, self-love. Love it all. If I didn't know what I know, I could borrow so much of what you guys just said. If I didn't know what I know. Let me tell you why. I love all of what you guys are saying, but what I was looking for it's not in the comments right now. And that's okay, because once I teach you, then we're good. Happiness. Let me tell you why it's critically important for you to be happy. Happiness is the only thing on the planet that releases you from the self. I said happiness. There is nothing else. It's the only thing that it was created for. It's the only thing reason why it was given to you. Happiness is the only thing that has the power to release you from the self. Your depression ties you to the self. The moment that you become depressed, you withdraw. You're tied to the self. You don't want to be around people. You're a liability to yourself in that moment. You're no longer the asset, right? You go in the house and you binge watch Netflix and you eat ice cream all day and all of those things like that. Why? Because that suffering ties you to the self, right? You don't want to go out and help others because you can't help yourself in that moment. Your unhappiness ties you to the self. Your anger ties you to the self. Happiness is the only thing that's so powerful that it will release you from the self. You walking around, you holding the door for people, you saying hi to people that didn't say hi to you, you're complimenting people, you're not thinking about yourself in that moment. It's the only thing that gives you permission to not think about yourself. When you are happy, you're not thinking about your problems. When you are happy, you're not thinking about what's wrong with your life and all of those things. It has freed you from the self. All of your negative emotions tie you to the self. Think about when you have a backache. When your back is hurting, that's the only thing you can think about. You can't think about anything else because that pain ties you to yourself. Think about when you have a toothache. That's all you can think about is your tooth. You don't want to go out and help people because you're tied to the self. Any level of suffering ties you to the self. Happiness is the only thing that will release you from that. That's why it's critically important for you to be happy and for no other reason. Love is what you give. Once you show up after you've written that surfboard called happiness, now I can give love. So I need happiness and I need love. I need to first be happy. And then once I get to the party, once I get to the charitable event, once I get to the fill in the blank, I can give love once I get there. But I need happiness to surfboard in order to get there. And happiness is the only thing that can release me from the self. It's a combination. You need the happiness and you need the love because once I get there, to the party, to the event, to help the babies, to hand out the food, to do whatever it is you're doing. Now I can give the unconditional love that God has put in me. But I can't do that if I'm tied to the self. That's what the suffering in your life is doing. It's tying you to the self. It transforms you into the liability. You're no longer the asset. But you won't hear about that on social media. Do me a solid today. Just do me a solid. Just do me a solid. Talk to 5 people today, 10 people today, however many people you can. Talk to 5 people today, and I can promise you there won't be a single person that can tell you what happiness is. They can't tell you what it is because they don't know. They think they just want to be happy because they just want to be happy. You don't know why you want to be happy. You don't know what happiness's role is in your life. Why are you chasing things and you don't know what it is that you're actually chasing? I need to chase so that I can free myself from me, so that I can stop thinking about me, so that I can stop focusing on my me and I can start focusing on you, which is what I was created to do. I was created to give love, not to seek it. But how can I give it if I'm tied to the self? Because I'm in my room and I'm depressed or I'm unhappy or I'm moody or I'm gloomy. I'm tied to the self. I'm no longer an asset for you. Does that make sense? Did everybody catch that? Somebody asked a powerful question, and it triggered something. Where's that question? What is happiness to you? Okay, everybody caught that. Wonderful. Ms. Hardnett, that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful question. And when someone is self-aware, fully self-aware, not pretending to be, guess what they're going to tell you? Nobody knows. I'm going to tell you something that's going to take your elevator all the way up to a whole different level. The problem with our society is that we see everything through some concept. That's why we don't see each other, because human beings don't fit into concepts. That's why we don't see God, because God doesn't fit into a concept. That's why most people don't understand or know what love is, because love doesn't fit into a concept. Happiness doesn't fit into a concept. So anything that I say to you in that moment isn't moving you closer to happiness. It's actually moving you further away. Why? Because happiness is something that you can only experience. I need you to catch this right now. I need you to listen to me with your spiritual ears right now, not through your programming and conditioning, not through your ego, your pride, or your persona. Let's set that down for just a moment so we can talk. I want you to think about a person that was born blind. They have never been able to see in the history of their life. They've never seen anything like we have. And you encounter this person one day and they ask you, hey, I've heard about this thing called a rainbow. Can you tell me about it? How would you describe the beauty of a rainbow to a person that was never gifted with sight? How do you do that? How do you describe the beauty of a rainbow to the person that has never been blessed with the gift of sight? It's humanly impossible for you to do that. But you would try, right? You would try. And in that moment, you would give them metaphors. And in that moment, you would give them your concepts. But every word that you apply in that moment would move that person further away from what the rainbow is, not move them closer to it. Why? Because the rainbow is only something that you can experience. You can't describe with your words what the rainbow is. It's humanly impossible. If you don't experience it for yourself, I can't give it to you in my words. Okay, freeze that thought right there. Come on, let's take the elevator up. Let's turn the awareness up. So if you can't describe the beauty of a rainbow, something as simple as a rainbow, with your words, how can you possibly describe what God is? I said, if you can't describe something as simple as a rainbow, utilizing your words, without your concepts, without your metaphors, if you can't describe the rainbow, how are you going to describe what God is? How can you describe what happiness is? How can you describe what love is? That's the problem. And if you were to go and you ask 100 people what happiness is, 100 people what love is, 100 people what God is, you're going to receive 100 different answers. Why? Because everyone is coming from their programming and conditioning. Everyone is speaking through their concepts. Everyone is speaking through what they assume he is, what they assume happiness is, what they assume love is. But the self-aware person is going to tell you, I don't know. It's only something that you can experience. It's something that I'm in possession of, but I can't share it with you through my words, but I can try, right? But every word that I give you, just understand, it's going to move you further away from what it is, not move you closer to it. That's awareness. Everything can't be described because you have to understand that through your thinking mind, okay? Everything can't be described through your thinking mind. It's only something that you can experience. That's why it's so beautiful. That's why life is beautiful. But we're so busy trying to describe it with our concepts and our metaphors and our formulas. And you got people teaching you about all of this stuff, and it's only moving you further away. Love can only be experienced. No one can explain what it is. Nobody can tell you where it started. No one can tell you where it comes from. No one can tell you anything. Anything that they tell you only moves you further away from what it actually is. Happiness can only be experienced. Have we all experienced? Absolutely. But the moment you experience, guess what you do? You put it into a formula. You put it into a concept, and then you share what your experience was with someone else. But the word is never the thing. No word is the thing that it is trying to describe. Words only point us in the direction of the thing, but it is never the thing that it's trying to describe. So the moment that I sit here, act like I'm all knowing and start explaining happiness to you, I'm only explaining it from my programming and conditioning, not yours. Which means I didn't give you anything. Does that make sense? And that's why I just tell people, become self-aware and get out of the habit of trying to describe. The same thing with self-awareness. When people ask me, well, coach, what's self-awareness? Man, it would take me 5 years to tell you what self-awareness is, because there's so many things. It's not one thing. I can't, wrap it up in a conversation. It would never happen that way. I would only leave you further away from what self-awareness is. The only thing that I can do is give you the tools, give you the formula, give you the recipe that I have applied to not only unlock myself, but unlock tens of thousands of people all over the world. And the moment that I do that, you say, I understand now, coach. Now I see. See first. See reality without your concepts. See reality without applying thought to it. See reality without applying your programming and conditioning to it. Most of the time we don't see. We don't see reality. We only see our thoughts about reality. We only see our programming and conditioning projected onto reality. We only see our fears projected onto reality. Most people don't see. When a person is looking at you, they only see how you benefit them. They only see based upon the role that you play in their life. They don't see you at your essence because they don't see themselves that deeply. Most people haven't discovered who they are, so how can they possibly know who you are? How do I know you and not know me? How'd that happen? But the moment I know me, I can understand you. The moment I meet me, I'll meet you. But if I haven't met me, I've only met how you benefit me. I will only meet the value that you bring to me. I will only meet the story that I've created in my mind about who I think you are. That's what I meet. The day you meet you, you've met everyone. That's the most beautiful thing in the world. The day you meet you, you meet everyone. You'll show up to the party. You're at the party the day you meet yourself. This is why I tell people all the time, you got to see through yourself first. Because if you can't see through yourself, you'll never develop the ability to see through others. The moment you start seeing through yourself, you're going to fall in love with everyone. But if you haven't developed the ability to see through yourself, you're only seeing people through conditional love. It brought me to tears the day that I saw through myself, because then I was able to give people permission to just be who they are. I was able to give people permission to I just love people for who and what they were. And I started to understand their struggles and their traumas and their pain and everything that they've gone through in life and all of those other things like that. I was able to stop hanging on to the resentment and stop hanging on to the anger and stop hanging on to the expectations that I needed other people to live up to and all of those things. And it gave me so much peace. And I was upset with myself. I was upset with myself because I couldn't believe how I had lived life so long, wanting everyone and needing everyone to be what I needed them to be in order for me to be happy. Again, I was tying my happiness to something outside of myself. I was tying what success meant to something outside of myself. I was tying whether or not I love myself to how much money was in my account, how many cars I had access to, how many people I had access to, how much jewelry, clothes I had access to. Everything was tied to something outside of myself. The day you meet you, you'll meet everyone else. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mama. I appreciate that. Let me get to no, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, Miss Hart. I promise you, I hear you. I hear you. Thank you for sharing that, though. I hear you. More in ways that you can't even imagine. I hear you. But this is soften your heart right now. Soften your heart right now towards yourself, right? And change the narrative. Change the narrative from I should have known to now I know better, because it gives you power. Change the narrative from I should have known to now I know better. That's where your strength lives. That's where your power lives. Right there. I don't care what happened in all of your yesterdays. Stop saying, how did I know? And why didn't I see that? And how? No. Change the story. Change the narrative from I should have known to now I know better. Now I know better with this situation. Now I know better when it comes to toxic relationships. Now I know better with respect to not being disrespected. Now I know better with respect to not turning down the volume on my voice. Now I know better. I know better now. I won't punish myself for what I didn't know. I'm focused on who I am in this moment. Now I know better. Look at the freedom it gives you once you just step into that mindset. It releases all of the baggage that we carry and all of the shame that we carry and all of the suffering that we create because we didn't know what we didn't know back in all of our yesterdays. And what do we say all the time? There's no one to blame. That was the most freeing thing in the world for me. There's no one to blame. I promise you, there's no one to blame. Now you can waste your energy and you can waste your time finding some person to blame, but I promise you there's no one to blame. There's no one to blame because you have to understand that most of the people that came in contact with you lacked self-awareness, lacked emotional intelligence, and they weren't masters of themselves. What does that mean? That means that they were projecting all of the unhealed versions of themselves onto you. And you came in contact with that person somehow, some way, and that person projected their pain onto you. The way that God looks at that person, there's no punishment there. And the reason why there's no punishment there, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. The person that lacks self-awareness, they don't know what they're doing. The only thing they're doing is what someone else has done to them. That's a program that they're running. You have to understand that. Again, you can spend the rest of your life being upset about what happened in all of your yesterdays, but when you become self-aware, you're going to understand there's no one to blame. People only understand you to the level of their consciousness, not yours. Please understand that. People only understand you and only see you to the level of their consciousness, not yours. There's no one to blame. The only thing that matters is what you do now. What you do from this moment moving forward is the only thing that matters. But I will say this. We talked about this yesterday. You know, life only gives you two things. It gives you blessings and it gives you battles. Those are the only two things that life is giving you. It's giving you blessings and it's giving you the battles. And that battle that you went through, that situation, that toxic situation, the trauma, the chaos, the drama, whatever label you want to attach to it, only led you to this moment. And it's only leading to your growth. And it's only leading to your spiritual awakening. It has so much to do with the way that you are categorizing that thing. But I promise you, once you stop identifying with the me, everything changes. That's the only problem. The only problem is what you're identifying as. That's hurting you more than anything else. Real quick, someone asked this question. Hopefully this young lady is on the, hopefully this young lady, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Creating Clarity. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's someone, this is what I need you guys to understand. All of your suffering is in your me. It's not in the I. Well, what's my me, coach? Your persona, your reputation, your ego, your programming and conditioning, the masks that you wear, all of your suffering, all of the wounds that you carry in your mind are all associated and attached to your me, not to the I. You're not the me. But by some strange trick of the mind, you've been programmed and conditioned to believe that you are your me. Your physical body is your me as well, right? So you got your physical body, you've got your ego, you've got your persona, you've got your reputation, you've got your programming and conditioning, you've got the wounds that you carry in your mind that you continue to project onto the present moment. You got the unhealed versions of you that only exist in your mind that you continue to project onto the present moment. That's your me, but that's not who you are. And it's not until you become fully self-aware that you'll understand that, and your suffering will end immediately the moment that you stop identifying as the wounded and you start identifying as the one that witnessed the wound, because that's who you are. You're not the one that carries the wounds. You're the one that witnessed it all. You're the awareness behind it all. But you won't understand that until you become self-aware, which is why self-awareness is the most important thing in your life. It's the most important thing in your life. Because we identify as our physical bodies. We identify as the past. We identify with our ego. We identify with the trauma. We identify with the depression. We identify with the unhappiness. And it's the I am that you're associating with all of that that's tying the belief. And it's the belief that creates the negative experience. Belief creates all experiences. Whatever you believe about what happened in y'all of your yesterdays is what's creating the experience. Not reality, not God, just you. The person that's doing all of the damage to you in life is that image that's being reflected back to you in the mirror each day. That's who we need to get rid of. That's your me. We get rid of that, everything changes. It's all over. Real quick. No, absolutely. No. Can ego? It's humanly impossible for ego, but that's for ego and love. Short answer is no. For ego and love to coexist, it can't. Ego is conditional love. That's why. Your ego is tied to conditional love. But let me say it this way. Every person on the planet walks around with a mental checklist. And your mental checklist was created by your ego, was created by your programming and conditioning, was created by your trauma, your pain, your wounds. All of those things is the byproduct of your mental checklist. So you have a mental checklist. Anyone that checks those boxes on your mental checklist, you like that person, you'll smile at that person, you'll say hello to that person, you'll be nice to that person, friendly, all of those things. Anyone that doesn't make the list with respect to your mental checklist, you reject. That's the conditional love in you. Again, all of that is the byproduct of your ego. Okay. So when you're walking around with that mental checklist. Anyone that's not in alignment with that mental checklist, you won't even speak to. You won't invite them to the party. You won't invite them here. Why? Because your mental checklist is what you think good or bad is, what you think a nice person is, what you think handsome or pretty is, what you think smart is, what you think funny is, what you think fill in the blank is. That's what your mental checklist is all made up of. And so as you're walking through the world, unbeknownst to you, anyone that meets that mental checklist, you gravitate toward that person. Anyone that's out of alignment with that mental checklist, you reject the person. But when you reject the person, you're rejecting God. Because the person is his creation. Period. It's the only thing you rejected, unbeknownst to you. It's who you're rejecting. The person represents reality. Why are you rejecting reality? Because they don't fit your list. That's why when you become self-aware, you got to get rid of that list. I don't have a list anymore. I used to have a list. I'd be the first person to raise my hand. I used to have a list. I don't have a list anymore. The list's been gone. I just see people as they are, and you're either self-aware or you're not self-aware. There's only two things. There are people that are spiritually awakened, and then there are those that are not. And somehow, some way, people that operate out of a lack of self-awareness has come up with all of these labels to attach to people that really are just lacking self-awareness in that moment. There's only two things. You're either fully self-aware or you're not. You're either spiritually awakened or you're not. There's no in the middle. And if you're not spiritually awakened and if you're not self-aware in that moment, I'm going to give you grace the same way that God gives it to me. How am I going to be disrespectful to you and God doesn't disrespect me? How am I going to judge you and God doesn't judge me? How am I going to reject you and God doesn't reject me? Come on. Turn the awareness up. Turn the awareness up. How am I going to be disrespectful to you, but God isn't disrespectful to me and you're his creation? How am I going to judge you, but he doesn't judge me? How am I going to reject you, but he doesn't reject me? But I claim to love him. I claim to have all of this love for him, but I'm rejecting his creation, which means I am ultimately rejecting him because I lack awareness. Anytime that I reject his creation, but in the same breath, I'm claiming to love him, I'm not awakened in that moment. And the person that, watch this, and the person that I'm rejecting can teach me more than all of the people that I've accepted into my life that make that fit my mental checklist. I can learn more from the person that I'm rejecting. Why? Because when I reject a person, I'm only rejecting them because there's something about me that I don't like that I've suppressed over time, and they're triggering that. Anytime you reject some person, you're rejecting that person because there's something in you that you don't like, that they reflect back to you. Every single person is only mirroring you back to you. Every single thing that's happening in your reality is only you pushed out. That's what your reality is. You pushed out. So every single person that you encounter, every single person that you have a conversation with in that moment has the opportunity or the ability to reveal some weakness that you have or some strength that you have. And if you're tuned into self-awareness, you'll see it. That person that just approached you out of nowhere and just started walking up, having a conversation with you when you were like all uncomfortable and all of these things that you're wondering, God sent you that person because how can you be an introvert when he needs you to be an extrovert? So he sent that person because that person was all bubbly and had all of this energy. And you just sitting here in that moment, just having a conversation. And in your mind, you're thinking, why is this person talking to me? Because they're a reflection of where you're weak. But when you lack self-awareness, you don't see that. You just like, why is this person just talking to me out of nowhere? It's because you're missing something. The gift that you carry is too powerful. So he's trying to get you out of your comfort zone. So he sent you this person with all of this bubbly personality. Does that make sense? It's all a divine push. Everything that's happening to you is a divine push. That's all it is. It's no big deal. This question, let me get back to what I was saying earlier. There was a question that someone asked yesterday that I didn't get an opportunity to answer, but I think it's fitting right now for this moment. Hopefully she's here. Again, this question came in yesterday, but I missed it. But I'm gonna raise the question to you guys, and then you guys can tell me. How do you utilize the divine push? You just don't reject it, right? Just don't reject anything. Just understand that just understand that everything that's happening in your environment is just you pushed out. Your reality is not my reality. The reality that you experience is not the reality that I experience because your reality is predicated on your consciousness. It's predicated on your level of self-awareness. It's predicated on your level of emotional intelligence. But most importantly, it's predicated on your programming and conditioning because we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. So your reality, your specific reality, not all reality, just the reality you experience is you pushed out. So your strengths are pushed out, your weaknesses are pushed out, right? That's what makes you great. What makes you strong is knowing what makes you weak. But your weaknesses, what the goal is to bring your weaknesses up to strength level. So God is going to send different people into your life, right? For areas of your life where you are, I'm going to tell you, like that homeless man that walk up to you and just asking you for something right now, the reason why that person is coming up to you like that is because you lack compassion. You lacked kindness. There's something that so what God is saying is, as you're growing, as you're evolving in your awareness, in your awakening, you're going to start to see all of these things that are happening around you that are really weaknesses for you. They're not strengths for you. Okay? He's not going to reveal where you're strong. He's going to reveal where you're weak, because once you bring your weaknesses up to strength level, you become the most. Am I making sense? Is what I'm saying making sense? I want to make sure I'm not losing anyone. Okay. Again, when you're walking throughout, wherever you're weak, whatever those weaknesses are that you have, your reality is you pushed out, right? Your consciousness pushed out, your programming and conditioning pushed out, your beliefs pushed out, right? Everything, it's you pushed out. Whatever you're experiencing is not something that I would experience. So if you're struggling with compassion, or you're struggling with kindness, or you're struggling with this, you're going to see a homeless person here, homeless person there. This person's going to walk up to you, need this. This person may say, hey, can you help me with that? That's what all of these people are coming, because again, as you're starting this your spiritual awakening journey, right? As you're starting, because what's the ultimate goal? To become unconditional love. That's the ultimate goal. That's where you're going with all of this. That's where awareness is leading you to. It's not leading you to anything else. It's not just so that you can become the most powerful version of yourself. It's so that you can become unconditional love, because unconditional love turns you into the asset, into the blessing, into the answer, into the cure that every single person needs that's going to encounter you. So the ultimate goal is just for you to become unconditional love. How can you become unconditional love if you're rejecting people? Does that make sense? So it's you versus you. Just understand that every single person, it's all a test. Okay? And even, so how do I counter that? If that homeless person comes and you got something that you can offer that person, give that person something. It's all testing you. You got to get past that. Break that program in your mind that makes you want to tell them no. Shatter the program. Shatter the program. It's only a program that you're running. Why? Because you didn't come into the world that way. You didn't come into the world that way. The version of you that came into the world would have gave that person anything. You didn't come into the world that way. Somebody programmed you to see it. You didn't come into the world with racism. You didn't come into the world with your assumptions. You didn't come into the world judging people. You didn't come into the world that way. So you got to get rid of those programs that other people have deposited in you. But let me just give you guys this real quick, and then you said, what if someone is being rude? It's the same thing. It's you are the light. Okay? You are the light. That's what God is turning you into. You are the light. You are never the thing that your light shines on. Okay? Understand that. You are the light. You are never the thing that your light shines on. Think about the sun. The sun will shine on you whether you are good or bad. It doesn't care if you just got out of prison. It doesn't care if you're going through a divorce. It doesn't care if you're not loving yourself. It's going to shine on you. Why? It's unconditional love. It's always going to shine on you, whether you are good or bad alike. That tree will always give you its fruit. It will always give you its shade. It doesn't matter if you're a good person or a bad person. It will always give it to you because it's unconditional love. Everything in nature is. Think about the rose. The rose will always bless you with its fragrance. It doesn't care if you're a good person or a bad person. It will always bless you with its fragrance. Okay, so think about yourself now. It doesn't matter what's happening to that person. That's not your business. Right? Your business is to be, why? Because what you carry in you is infinitely more powerful than whatever it is that person is trying to project on you in that moment. Not only that, that person can't hurt you without your consent. Whatever you're attaching meaning to what they say, that's why it's so important for you to become self-aware, because what hurt you is not what they said. What hurt you is the story that you created around what they said. What hurt you is the meaning that you attached to what they said, not the words. No person's words carry power. Words have no power. They only have the power that you give them. And so in that moment, you have an opportunity to insert unconditional love into the moment. And unconditional love is more powerful than their anger. It's more powerful than their depression. It's more powerful than anything on the face of this earth. Or you can choose to become conditional love and say, well, you're being rude to me, so I won't be nice to you. But what would God do in that moment? One more time, every situation is only you pushed out, right? And so when you're encountering that person, whatever is happening in them in that moment, you didn't create that. So I'm not going to take personally anything that you say. It's just that simple. Now, if a person is being verbally abusive to the point to where you feel like this person is getting ready to do something to you, then just move away from the situation, right? Move away from the situation and move on. It's situation. If I knew what, if I had a better scenario to go off of, I could break that down a little bit better. But for me, let me tell you this. For me, the thing that I hang my hat on the most is that nothing outside of me has the power to affect me. Nothing. Nothing has the power to upset me. Nothing has the power to upset you. Nothing has the power to disturb you. Peace is in you. It's not anything that happens outside of you. Your peace is not predicated on what's going on outside of you. So if you have peace in you, if you have love in you, if you have joy in you, if you have peace in you, then why are you worried about what's happening outside of you? Because there's nothing outside of you that can disturb you. There's nothing outside of you that can upset you. In the history of this planet, there has not been a single thing that has ever upset you. All upset exists in you. It's all predicated on your reaction to what's happening, not to what's happening itself. Does that make sense? So if I have peace in me, who cares about the storms happening outside of me? If I have love in me, who cares about the storms happening outside of me? If I have joy and happiness in me, who cares about the things that are happening outside of me? Who cares? Because if you need things outside of you to be peaceful in order for you to be happy, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. So real quick, let me get to this question real quick, you guys. Somebody asked this question. I want to make sure that I get to her question. Her question was, and I'm gonna pose that to you guys, and then I'm gonna answer it real quick, and then I'll let you guys get out of here. If you love yourself, some of you guys may even be in this situation right now. If you love yourself and you can clearly see that your partner does not love themselves, should you stay in the relationship or go? This is a question that someone posed to me yesterday that I didn't get an opportunity to answer, and I feel really bad, so I wanted to ask that question right now. I got you, lovely. I got you. Does everybody understand the question? Does anybody need me to repeat the question before I get out of here? Somebody says, stay for what? Jules says, stay for what? One more time. If you love yourself, and you can clearly see that your partner does not love themselves, should you stay in the relationship? Turn the awareness up. Should you stay in the relationship or go? Let me see where you guys are. Somebody says stay and help them. I love that. I love that. You shouldn't be with someone who doesn't love themselves. Okay. I'm looking to see if you guys can see what I see. Ooh, somebody said, pin that. Somebody said you can't love somebody if you, and then it flew away. Whoever said that, shoot that back. Let me see. Somebody said you can't love somebody, and then boom, it went away. Okay, RR, okay. Quit playing now. Okay, Catherine. Lala, I see you. Look at my brother Muhammad. Somebody said love them anyway. Okay, here we go. To answer that question, and I don't know if that young lady is here today, but let me dive in real quick. Somebody said I don't know, because you got to think about that. Wait, think about that now. Listen to the question. If you love yourself and you can clearly see that your partner doesn't love themselves, should you stay in the relationship or go? Should you stay or go because they don't love themselves? Should you stay or go? Soul Fuel said go. Muhammad said go. I'm seeing a bunch of goes. Okay. Here's the $1 billion question. Now let me give you guys my answer. Here's the $1 billion question. How did they develop the ability to love you and not love themselves? Just tell me how. I said, how did they develop the ability to love you and not love themselves? How do you do that? How do you do that? Inquiring minds want to know. Maybe you guys know something that I don't know. Maybe there's some new brand of love that just came out. Maybe I haven't seen it yet. How do you do that? In other words, how did love skip past them and land on you? How did my love manage to leap over me but land on you? Just tell me how. And I'm the one giving it. It's coming from me. So you mean to tell me with a straight face that love jumped out of my body and onto yours, but I'm not giving it to myself? What brand of love is that? I've never heard of that before. Because if they can love you and not love themselves, that's not love. I said if the person can love you and not love themselves, that's not love at all. That's an attachment. They have an attachment to you. See, what that is their attachment. That's need. That's desire. That's greed. Watch this. Oh, come on, man. Who can tell me what role greed plays in all of that? That's the attachment, but it's also greed. Let's turn the awareness up here because some of you guys may be in a situation like that. How does greed play a role in there? You might think, greed, coach, I don't see that. Greed is all in there. I can make the argument that greed becomes more powerful than the attachment. How though? Let me see where your awareness is. People, okay, they see you how they need you. I like that, Nicole. They're seeing you how they need you. Ego, okay? Something that you can't live without. Trauma bonding, I love that. Envious, I love that. Ego, I'm gonna tell you how. Let me tell you something about greed that you may not know. Greed is so powerful that a person will wrap you up in a relationship, will wrap you up in a marriage because they don't want anyone else to have the experience called you. And it has absolutely nothing to do with them loving you. It has absolutely nothing to do with them wanting to hand you the world. It has everything to do with, I'm so selfish. I'm so busy thinking about me and wanting to control the situation that I've had an experience with you that was so incredible that I don't want anyone else to have that experience. And I'll play the role, I'll play the character of the person that loves you, but I don't really love you. I just don't want anyone else to have the experience of you. And I will wrap you up in that relationship and I'll do everything I can do to convince you that it's love, but I don't love me. Chances are, whatever it is that's happening with her situation, that's what it is. There's something about her, something that she gives him that he doesn't want any other man to experience. And so greed will make you jump into a marriage, even though that's not really what you wanted. Greed will make you jump into the relationship, even though you're not doing it out of love, because you just want to take that person off the market. I know people in full-blown marriages right now where love is not present, but this person won't let go of the other person, all because they don't want anyone else to have the experience of the person that they're attached to. Love has not even been in a relationship. Love haven't been in a relationship in years. But I don't want anyone else to have you, so I'll do the little things that I need to do. Just doing enough to keep you happy. Just doing enough to keep you content. Just doing enough to keep you satisfied and keep you off the market, because I don't want anyone else to have you. I don't want you to go enjoy your life and be happy without me. That's greed. That's how greed ties into the relationship. A lot of people don't know that. That part right there, you get rocked to sleep the whole time. You thinking that the person head over heels in love with you. No, they just don't want anyone else to have you. Got nothing to do with love. Love ain't been in the conversation. Love hasn't been a part of the relationship since day one. Let me ask you guys this question real quick, and then I'll let you guys get out of here. What makes a person stay in a toxic relationship? There's only one thing. Hey, Ireland, so good. What makes a person stay in a toxic relationship? There's only one thing. Only one. I'll tell you for the sake of time. Trauma. Did you guys know that? I saw one person jumped out there. Trauma is what keeps you in a toxic relationship. Nothing else. That's why self-awareness is so important. Trauma is the only thing that keeps you in a toxic relationship. Let me tell you why. Because trauma affects your self-confidence, your self-esteem, your level of self-worth. Trauma affects all of that. Trauma affects how much you love yourself. Trauma affects your self-concept, which is everything you believe to be true about you. Trauma affects the way you see yourself. Trauma affects the way you wake up in the morning. Trauma affects that image that you see staring back at you in the mirror. Trauma affects it all. So if I have low self-confidence, and if I have low self-esteem, and I have low self-worth, and I don't have a very powerful image of myself in my mind, I will accept less than I deserve. I won't show up in the relationship. I'll turn down the volume on my voice. I'll walk on eggshells. I'll do all of those things. And in this moment, put love in your heart. Have compassion right now. Have empathy right now, because the trauma wasn't something that the person asked for. Understand that before you guys jump out there in the comments. The trauma wasn't something that the person didn't ask for the trauma. Okay. They're struggling with that. So it's affecting the way that they see themselves. It's affecting the relationship they have with themselves. It's affecting their level of self-worth. It's affecting everything. So they'll stay in a toxic relationship because they'll think that they can't find anything better than that. They'll think that they're not worthy of anything more than what they're already getting. They'll accept less than they deserve. They'll do all of those things, not because there's something wrong with them, but because the trauma has taken over. That's why self-awareness is so important, because you stop identifying with the trauma and you start becoming who you really are. And when you become the spiritually awakened version of yourself, you'll walk right out of the relationship. Previous, Stacy, to answer your question, something that happens, because again, they were already struggling with that when they entered the relationship. When they entered the relationship, with all of the brokenness, right? You entered the relationship receiving that. And then you may even experience more trauma in the relationship from the abuse and the disrespect, and maybe the person's not loyal to you and all of those. So now I'm experiencing even more trauma in the relationship. So now I'm a shell of myself. Does that make sense? How do I counter that? Self-awareness is the only solution. All right. I've said enough. For those of you guys that just joined, again, my purpose and my mission as a life coach is to always leave you better than I found you. Remember today, you guys, stay powerful. You are love. It's not something that you chase. It's not something that you seek. It's something that you already are. The moment you start chasing it, it's because you're not in possession of it in that moment. The moment that you think that your happiness exists outside of you, you're not awakened in that moment. Understanding that all of your problems exist in your own mind. And it's all predicated on the way that you are looking at the situation. It's all predicated on the meaning that you attach to what's happening in the story that exists in your mind about how you think things should be. That's what's producing all of the problems. All of these things are an easy fix. It's just about you buckling down and having a desire and having the passion to become something greater than you are right now. But everything you need to be, every version of yourself that you have ever been in life and every version of yourself that you will ever be, you are in this moment. That's what's beautiful. That should scare you or ignite you. Every version of yourself that you have ever been and every version of yourself that you will ever be, you are in this moment. It's all a different frequency. It's all predicated on the frequency. The healed version of you is available to you right now. The unhealed version of you is available to you right now. And if you're not loving yourself, you're going to always tune in to the version of yourself that's not healed, which means that you're going to remind yourself about who's not loving you. You're going to remind yourself about who walked out. You're going to remind yourself about the toxic situation. You're going to remind yourself about your trauma. You're going to remind yourself about what went wrong in all of your yesterdays. That's what happens to you when you're not loving yourself, right? You always tap into the frequency of the unhealed version of you. When you're loving yourself, you tap into the frequency of who you have the potential to become. And then you tap into that happiness. What did we say earlier? Happiness releases you from the self. It's the only thing that has the power to release you from the self. Releasing you from the self, meaning your self is just all of your previous experiences leading up to this moment. Yourself is the programming and conditioning. Yourself is your me, your ego, your pride, your persona, your reputation. That's the self. So when you're talking about myself, right? Self. What is the self? It's the byproduct of everything you've ever experienced leading up to this moment. That's the self. But that's not who you are. That's only something that you've created through all of the experiences leading up to who you are becoming. And that's what's important to understand. But real quick, my name is Jordan Williams. I am a certified life coach. I specialize in self-awareness and self-mastery, helping people to become the most powerful versions of themselves. Everything you need to be, you already are in this moment. Value is something that you are. It's not something that people can add to you. It's not something that you can purchase. It's something that you are. And the way that you become the value is you got to get out of your way. It's time for you to get out of your way. No more programming and conditioning, no more ego, no more pride, the reputation and all of these man-made things that you create, that you label and attach to yourself, that produces so much suffering for us. It's just time for you to just be who you are. And we talk about this all the time. You know, to become the most powerful version of yourself, I've got to become the most authentic version of myself, which means no more pretending. Pretending to be happy at the job, pretending to be happy in my relationship, to pretend to be happy with my body, pretending to be happy. All of that pretending is producing so much suffering in your life. So we have created a community. My partners and I have created a community where we teach self-mastery, self-awareness, emotional intelligence. We teach people how to become the strongest and most powerful versions of themselves. But it's time for the spiritual awakening. If you're here, there's some spiritual awakening that it's time for you to step into. You're probably on that journey to that right now. And that's the number one reason why we created the community. The community is just for people that are going through or that are having the spiritual awakening, people that are becoming masters of themselves, people that are tired of living out of their programming and conditioning, which is producing your depression and your unhappiness, and it's producing the suffering, it's producing all of those things. What you have to understand is that the current version of you right now does not carry your wounds at all. Which means what? which means that you're already healed. Whatever it is that you went through, you're not going through anymore. But you won't give yourself permission to just stay where you are right now with respect to being in this mindset. You keep reminding yourself about what happened. You keep projecting that onto the current version of you. But in this moment, you are the healed version of yourself because you're no longer drowning in the river of all of your yesterdays. That's what awareness is trying to bring you to. Your wounds exist in a previous moment. They don't exist in this moment at all. There's not a single wound that you have that exists in this moment. Everything is stored in some memory trace that you keep reminding yourself of and that you keep projecting onto this moment, which is producing your suffering. I'm going to help you so that you stop doing that. That's goal number one. We set that down. No more reminding yourself about what went wrong in all of your yesterdays. We've all experienced the trauma, but I can make the argument that the trauma, regardless of how you look at it right now, the trauma serves a greater purpose in your life than anything else. Why? Because it led you to this moment. It led you to this moment, right? And it's how we choose to identify with that trauma that creates the suffering. And you'll understand that later when you become awakened. You'll understand why that everything that you went through leading up to this moment, you had to go through in order to become who you're going to ultimately become. Having said all of that, if you guys are, if you are really truly ready to transform your life, we created a community called Mindset Masters, and it's just that, it's you becoming a mindset master, because once you master your mind, you master your life, because you think yourself into doubt, you think yourself into fear, you think yourself into depression, you think up the anxiety, you thinking up the worry. All of it is the byproduct of your thinking. And that's one of the first things that we want to help you gain mastery over, is so you're not thinking and creating stories about what's happening in reality, which is producing all of your suffering. So we want to eliminate all of that and just help you to become the most powerful version of yourself. But you're going to gain access to all of my live streams. You're going to gain access to my podcast. You're going to gain access to me as a coach and as a mentor. You're going to get 2 other coaches as well. They're all phenomenal. And the combination of us coupled with the information that you're going to have access to inside of the community is going to transform you into the person that God has created you to be. I won't be responsible for your transformation. You'll be responsible, but I will be that co-pilot in your life to make sure that you are applying the information the way that it needs to be, so that way you can have the spiritual awakening that is your birthright. Every single person should be awakened. There shouldn't be a single person that's walking around suffering and depressed and unhappy and in some low vibrational frequency and missing out on life and missing out on opportunities, not seeing reality as it is, only seeing reality through your programming and conditioning. All of that has to stop, because you're not enjoying your life. Socrates said the unaware life is not worth living. And at first I didn't understand that. I fully understand it now. The unawakened life is just not worth living. Being unhappy all the time, being stressed out, worried about what might happen tomorrow, focused on who's loving you, who's not loving you, who's believing in you, seeking external validation, thinking that love comes from other people, thinking that happiness comes from other people. It's just, there's no way to live. Bottom line, there's just no way to live. So having said all of that, if you guys are interested in becoming the most powerful versions of yourself and taking me on as your life coach, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a force multiplier. I'm all gas, no brakes. I don't do excuses, so I won't let you fight for your limitations, right? I will challenge you at every turn when it comes to the excuses, but you'll be so happy that I push that gas pedal on you. So if you guys are truly ready, just type me in the comments right now. Type me in the comments right now if you guys are truly ready to take your life to the next level. But if you don't have a burning desire to become something greater than you are right now, then the community is not for you. You got to bring desire. I can fill in everything else, but you got to bring the desire. So this is what you guys have to do. The entire community. And if you guys get signed up today, you're going to get a free copy of my book. The book is a bestseller, The Secret of Awareness, How Powerful Are You Ready to Be? If you guys get signed up today, again, you're going to get a free copy of the book. So this is all you have to do. You guys are going to have to go to my profile page, which means you're going to have to step outside of the live stream, go to the profile page, and just click the link that says join me. The entire community is $1. It's $29 a month. No contracts, no obligations. No month to month. You sign up, you go for a month, you go for 2 months, go for 3 months. It's totally up to you. But it's $1 a day, less than the price of coffee, literally, less than coffee, less than a bottle of water. Like that's, and the value that you guys are going to pull out of this community is mind blowing. So step outside of the live, go to my profile page, click the link. It's going to take you maybe 60 seconds to get signed up, and then you guys are ready to go. Any questions regarding the community, you guys, before we disconnect from this live? Any community related questions that I can answer? $1. Literally $1. The best investment you'll ever make. The best dollar you'll ever spend in your life. $1. Yep, $29 a month. No contracts. It's the cheapest bill you have, but it'll be the one that adds more value to life than anything. That much I can promise you. Because nothing else in your life will bring you to a spiritual awakening. Nothing. Self-awareness is the only thing that will lead you to a spiritual awakening. Nothing else will. Nothing else. Sad but true. How many sessions? It's up to you. It's up to you. You know, like I said again, it's month to month. You know, for some people, it may only take you a month. That's the reason why we didn't want to have, you know, any contracts or anything like that, because for some people it may take you a month. It's always predicated on how much you've gone through, right? Leading up to this moment. How much trauma have you gone through? How much suffering have you gone through, right? How much programming and conditioning do you have? For some people, they have very little. For others, they have, you know, a sea of it. So it's always predicated to that. So for someone to say, oh, I can do it in 3 months, they're lying to you. It's all predicated on, you said you click and join me, you're not able to get in? Can you guys check that? Can somebody step outside the live and check that? I don't know why it should be taking you there. Yeah, all of the lives. Yeah, absolutely. All of the lives are archived. Thank you so much for that. All of the lives are archived inside the community. So you guys are going to have that. My podcasts are archived inside of the community. 2 ways to get the book. If you get signed up today, you're going to get the book, right? You get signed up today, you're going to get the book, or you can go to Amazon and get the book. If you want to take a screenshot of it, you can go. If you want a physical copy like this, I would suggest you just go to Amazon. And for some of you guys, you can just click that link and hold it down for a few seconds. Or you said it's working, God's Girl? Okay, God's Girl said it's working. We get hit up with so many people trying to get in at one time. It may have been a traffic jam or something. I don't know. Yeah. What was it? What was the somebody? But yeah, as far as the community is concerned, and as far as your spiritual awakening, it's all predicated on your programming and conditioning and how much you've gone through. Any other community-related questions, you guys, before I get out of here? Kales, thank you so much, Mama. I appreciate you. Stacy, Tara, thank you so much. God's Girl, Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, all of the support today. Muhammad, my brother, thank you so much. Lynetta, thank you so much. All of the Mindset Masters family, you guys, thank you. Every single day, thank you guys.